Hi everyone, I'm Sandy, and today I am doing a tag that was an original tag by AJ Dunn Reads and Writes. If you are not familiar with their channel, please definitely go check their channel out. I will leave a link in the description to their version of this tag, and I am going to do this a little bit differently as far as how I tag people today, only because I want to do it up front and rather at the end, which is what I normally do. So the first one is kind of combined also with a shout out, which is for Andrew over at Andrew's Wizardly Reads. If you're not familiar with Andrew's channel, it is absolutely fantastic if you read a lot of fantasy and a lot of sci-fi, which I personally do not, but I really connect with Andrew's energy level because we have similar energy levels, I think, at times. So Andrew, I would love to see you do a version of this because I think your answers will be quite a bit different than mine. And so that's the first one, but I will also go ahead and draw two out of the jar really quickly. Like I said, this is a little bit different because normally I do this at the end, but I want to do it at the beginning. So the first one is actually for Steph over at Steph's Bookish Worlds. I know these pieces of paper are just like not very exciting, but if you're not familiar with Steph's channel, she is absolutely wonderful as well. We are doing a buddy read coming up in the first 2 weeks of August, so I'm very excited about that one. But so Steph, you are tagged in this one if you feel like doing this one. It's kind of a neat one. And then the second one is going to be Vin over at Revenant Reads. So I love Vin's channel. He was in the Reading Europe 2021 challenge with us that Mark at Book Time with Elvis was hosting, and it has been so much fun to get to know everyone in that, and that includes Vin over at Revenant Reads. So those three of you, Andrew at Andrew's Wizardly Reads, I don't know why I have so much a hard time saying your channel name. If you like a lot of fantasy and sci-fi, please go check out his channel because he gave me a shout out on his Discord, and I would love it if more people went and checked him out. And then Steph at Steph's Bookish World and Vin at Revenant Reads. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into the tags, the prompts for the tags. So the first one is, so this is called the It's All Relative tag, and like I said, it's an original tag created by AJ Dunn. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. I do not have all the physical books for this, so I will have to put some of them up just as yeah, as a book cover up here somewhere. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, so first one, I'm a mess today. Mamma Mia. Recommend a book with a mother character that is pivotal to the story. So for this one, I'm actually going to select Burnt Sugar by Avni Dashi. So this one, yeah, the mother in this is very pivotal to the story. She has Alzheimer's and has a very complicated and difficult relationship with her daughter. I did a review on this book a couple of weeks ago, I believe, and it is very moving and troubling, and their relationship is 100% the key component in this particular book. It is one I would highly recommend. Okay, so for book two, or for prompt two, so prompt two, Papa Don't Preach, a book with a father character you like or despise. I know on AJ's channel they went with one I believe they liked, and I'm going to go with one more that I despise, mainly because the story is kind of just okay, but it is one that has a very prominent father figure in it, and that's actually The Shining by Stephen King. I just read this last year, and it was such a surprise to me because I'd only seen the Jack Nicholson movie version of this, and there were a lot of differences between the book. It's not necessarily my favorite book, but it does have a very strong central male father figure in it. That poor child goes through quite a bit in that book. Okay, so number three, Brothers and Sisters, a book with an interesting sibling relationship. So I didn't do a brother-sister, I did a sister-sister, and that one is My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. I'm not sure. I always want to say Picolette, and that's not the right way, I don't think, to pronounce her name. I will put a picture of the book here. So this one actually features sisters that one of them is much younger and was basically born to be the bone marrow donor for her sister who is very sick, and she reaches an age of somewhat of consent and says, I don't want to do this anymore, and I don't want to be this medical experiment for my sister. And it's a fascinating story of their relationship back and forth. It is a very complicated relationship. It is a very interesting relationship, and is one that it's kind of a hard read in places, but it is one that I think it provides some interesting perspectives on a sibling. So prompt 4, it's been 84 years. I'm sure AJ did that so you think of the Titanic, which is what I think of when I read that prompt. A book you like that is multi-generational or chronicles a character's whole life. So for this one, I picked 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Now, it says a book you like, and I don't know how much I would say I liked this book. I had to read it for school. I took one literature class, and it just didn't go very well because I'm not sure why, but it didn't go very well. But this one I know does have a large amount of characters in it and multi-generational. And what I actually remember about this book is so many of them are named John. But I think it is one that is worth a reread for me at some point, because I think that there's a lot of value in Garcia's writing, and I feel like I need to go back and consume this book a little bit more, because I definitely did not, because I was trying to read it so quickly for school. So prompt 5, you complete me, which is a Jerry Maguire quote. That's really funny. I'm just now picking up all these. You complete me, a book with an interesting marriage as a central element to the story. I am going with Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. If you have read this, you know that it features a husband and wife, and the wife disappears, and their relationship is 100% part of that story. It's not necessarily, again, my favorite book, but it is one that fits the prompt pretty perfectly. So prompt 6, picture it. Sicily, a book with an interesting elder character, grandparent, great-grandparent, etc. So I actually had the same one as AJ, which was Olive Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout. She is a crotchety old lady in this, but I wanted to find one that was different. So I actually thought of this one, which is The Grandpa in Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. Now, I will be talking about this in my Wednesday video, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I love the grandpa character in this book and how he helps the young boy achieve what he wants. I thought that he is a character in this book, and is just really funny. So yeah, I'm going to say the grandpa in Where the Red Fern... I'm going to say the grandpa in Where the Red Fern Grows, because I do really like him. And look for my video on Wednesday where I talk about that book. So number 7 is Friends with Benefits, a book with a found family or friends as family element. And so for this one, I actually picked Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. This book has such a strong friendship, and both boys and how they are accepted by each other's families is such a strong friends as family element to the book, and the support that each of the families give the two boys as they're going through a coming of age story where they're trying to determine who ultimately they will love, essentially. And their friendship is so powerful and so strong, and is one that I loved this book. It was one of my favorite books that I read. I believe I read it towards the end of last year or the beginning of this year. No, it was in this year. It was in this year. I should write these things down. Anyway, but that's prompt 7. Prompt 8, I think we're alone now. A book with a character who was Prompt 8, I think we're alone now. A book with a character who was lost, left behind, or abandoned. Can also be a story with an orphan or adopted character. So for this one, I'm going with The Martian by Andy Weir. If you haven't read this book, Mark Watney is basically left behind on Mars because they thought he was dead. And it is the story of his survival and the story of the people trying to rescue him. And it is so incredibly well written. It's one of the very few science fiction books that I've actually read, and the only one that I have recommended to multiple people, including my husband, who also loved it. So I really want to pick up Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir and see how I feel about that one. But this one, most definitely, he was 100% left behind. That's one of my favorite books that I read a couple years ago now, I think. I don't remember when it was published, but yeah, definitely The Martian. Pick it up if you haven't read it. It's way better than the movie, by the way. The movie did a good job, but the book is amazing. Number 9. Oh, this one's a great one for me. Fur Baby, a book where a pet or animal is part of the family and or plays an important role in the book. Now, certainly, I could talk about Where the Red Fern Grows, but I'm not going to for this one. I'm going to say The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein. So the book is, if you haven't read the book, it is told from the dog's perspective. And part of the reason I love this book so much is that the dog is a golden retriever. And if you've watched my channel, you know I have a golden retriever in my life. It's not my dog, it's my best friend's dog. And to say I've spent a lot of time with that dog would be an understatement. Often when we're out in the mountains or we're hiking or we're in the water or we're doing something. So this book follows the character whose name is Enzo, and he just wants to be a boy. And you read the book from the dog's perspective and see what the main character is going through, and you go, oh no, and there's nothing, obviously the dog isn't going to do anything to influence what's going on, but you as the reader with your perspective know that this isn't good, what's going on. And it is a magnificent book. If you have lost a golden retriever or lost a dog recently, I wouldn't recommend it. I did give it to one of my friends a little too soon after she had lost one of her dogs. Yeah, don't do that. That's really not good. But it is a wonderful book, especially if you do like dogs, because it is fascinating. It is a fascinating read. So, and with that is the end of my prompts, and I tagged everyone in the beginning, so now I don't know quite what to do. I guess I'll just wrap up here. So with that, of course, like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully, if you want to do this tag, I'd love to see more people do it because I think it's really interesting. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Bye.